Let me see. Got the 80s sports music doing radio. Man, I am having connectivity issues.
How's everybody doing this week? I'm your host, William Washington, and this is Cats versus Cards. Hopefully everybody can see this live. We're trying to do a whole lot so we can make sure this thing works just fine. But if it's not working just fine, continue to bear with us. Like we said last week, the goal of this show is to get you, the audience, to be involved. So if you want, please send me a tweet. I'm at Will E. Dubs. You should see it right there on your screen. Also, if you're joining us from YouTube or if you're joining us from Facebook, you can join in the chat. Send your questions in. Ask away, and we can go ahead and answer those and discuss it right here on the show, so you can be a part of that discussion. All right. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started with our show. You'll see at the bottom, hopefully, you see that we're scrolling right now, and we're telling you that we're going to be here every single Monday at 8:30. I know last time we said at 7:30, but it's going to be at 8:30. I think it's a better time. It's going to work out better for us all together. So we're going to be over at 8:30, and just bear with us for a second as I get our other screen up. I'll tell you guys. Give me 1 second, guys. I got a partner that tells me all the time that I need a producer, and he's not wrong at all, because things are coming up kind of slow for me, but we're getting them. And you should see my crew now on the other side. Starting at the top left, you see my boy Dietrich Henderson. I said Dietrich Henderson. Dietrich Sanford.
Nah.
Say what's up, D.
What's up, everybody? What's happening?
All right. And then the top right.
That would be a curse.
PJ Philemon Johnson. Tell him what's up.
What's good, everybody? How y'all doing? Cast by 90.
Cast by 90. I love it when he says that. And down to the bottom left, you see that corny old Louisville hat on. William Perry Henderson. What's up, Perry?
The real red one. Don't fade the phone.
The real red one. Who says that? All right. So at the bottom left, we have the Mr. Authority himself, Mr. Richard Henderson. What's going on, Rich?
Baby.
Hold on. Rich, I think I had you on mute. Go ahead. Say that again.
L1C4 for life, baby.
L1C4. Tell me what L1C4 mean.
Louisville first, cards forever, baby.
Louisville first, cards forever. Have y'all heard of anything else that's loserish? All right, so let's talk about week 3 of college football. By the way, guys, this is not college football only. This is not Cats versus Cards football only. We can also at times talk about basketball, but nothing really noteworthy except for PJ, what's his name? Isevic not being eligible yet, or if at all. What's his name, PJ?
Yes, Vivich.
And I know I'm putting you on. I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Who said that Shaq would call him bitches? He's a bitch. So
for the church folk that's watching, that's a V that he's saying, not a B. All right? so make sure that's clarified.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
All right. Well, PJ, I know I'm putting you on the spot. Can you give us an update on that? What's the latest and what are they talking about? Do you know?
Yeah, man. So far that I've only heard is that Cal is still doing what he can do to try to make it work. It's one of those things where, from my understanding with the staff before him, they really like the team. You know, of course, you can see the very unselfish team, all those good things they like to see early on. Of course, it's hard to tell in what it was. We played in June or July. Yeah. Can't really tell that much from then. But the one thing you can tell is fundamental things like passing and sharing the ball, doing stuff like that. So they really like the team already. So, of course, adding him would be huge. Yeah. My understanding is that if they can't get him to be here in the fall, they're hoping to at least try to get him for the spring. Okay. But a little birdie tells me, and it's not a little birdie is a Cardinal, but something else, that there's a school, I want to believe it's in the Big East, that everybody, not just them, but a lot of people are trying to get after him. So it is what it is.
Gotcha.
But there's a school that's likely there, so we'll see how that goes.
It sounds like it might be that school that Rick Pitino coaches at.
No, actually, no.
Okay.
Actually,
it's probably them other Wildcats.
Yeah, they tried to get at one of ours once before, so you know.
It's not them, but it's not. I would say this: it wouldn't be a team that any of our teams would actually be worried about.
Okay.
So that goes for just connections and stuff like that. But again, it's one of those things where, it's wherever you can get in.
Yeah.
It's wherever you get out. And I heard there's some other issues behind it, and it's not just the whole he can't get into the missions. There's stuff that Sandy Bell's kind of like, is it worth it? They don't know because you don't want to play a full season and then you got to forfeit y'all experienced that before. You got to forfeit the whole.
Stop it.
When did that happen? I don't even recall that championship game at all.
I was just he just put me on the spot real quick. He just put me on the spot real quick.
By the way, I was down on Louisville's campus because my niece, shout out to Christiana, she goes to U of L now, and what I did not know, and I found out today, is she's actually working with the football team. She took a picture and showed me a little piece of their weight room, and she's right there at the training table where they hand out the shakes and everything. So that's pretty neat.
Your niece has got great taste.
But I would tell you, horrible taste, guys. Horrible taste. I mean, I'm a Kentucky fan. I don't know how she became a Louisville fan, but I'm gonna tell you, when I was
she
on
followed
campus,
the voice of God. She followed the voice of God.
When I was on campus, I actually ran into Nolan Smith out of everybody. So, and he probably feels slighted or whatnot, but I'm not one that takes pictures with coaches. So I gave him that, said, "How you doing?" And he was just like, I left him hanging, but that's kind of how I am. But he's a cool cat, though. He's a cool cat. I told him he needed to be a Wildcat, but to each his own.
Speaking of following the voice of God to your right school, I just want to commend Perry for listening to God to become a Kentucky Wildcat in his collegiate career.
There you go. There you go.
See, I keep telling y'all,
no big blue, Perry.
I keep telling you that was not going down there to be converted. He was going down there to convert
missionary.
Missionary work.
Missionary work.
Missionary work.
Go to the sinners. Don't expect to always come to you.
Lathan's niece was called by the voice of God to join the Cardinal experience.
Hey,
Perry was down there as a missionary, see what I'm saying? To convert you godless heathens into the righteousness.
So I think last week we started off with Louisville football. So this week we're going to start off with Kentucky football. Talk about these cats right quick, and luckily today I actually have some highlights that we can show.
Before you start the highlights.
Yes, before I start the highlight. Yes, sir.
I really need to congratulate Kentucky. I really do, because y'all 40 years, man. 40 plus years. Y'all ain't won a conference title. But y'all are now the champions.
Folks, I got to mute his mic. Okay, we muted his mic. Here we go with these Kentucky highlights right here. I actually like Devin Leary even more, and I got to mute Richard Henderson as well. But one thing about this, let me mute these Louisville fans. One thing,
dead wrong.
I do like the ball coming out of Devin Leary's hands, and I think that when we first seen some highlights of him at NC State, I didn't think his arm was that strong, and I believe that Perry, you actually said the same thing, that his arm wasn't all that strong. But actually, he's showing it's not Will Levis, of course, but it's a pretty good arm. He can make all the throws, no problem. And I think a lot of the issues right now, we talk about accuracy issues, and you'll see it in this game. A lot of the accuracy issues, it's not really – there are some accuracy issues. It's not a whole lot, but there's a lot of miscommunication. There's a lot of receivers running the wrong routes and such, is what we're seeing right now. And so his completion percentage could be a lot higher, but you got drops and you got bad routes or whatnot. Go ahead, PJ. You was getting ready to say something.
I was going to say, being there, it was funny because you say that, because I was literally telling my dad. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. I was telling my dad, because we was at the game. Live, and I was telling him, I said, I haven't. I think this throw right here, bam, right here, perfect timing. Yeah. I was like, I haven't really seen him make like a throw to me that I was like, when I say SEC throw, I'm not meaning like no other conferences can throw the ball. I'm not saying that, but what I mean by that is that a throw that can happen in the SEC that is actually transferable, right? Like it translates.
Yeah.
And when he made this throw, I was like, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
I was looking for him to make a throw that's not just somebody just wide open, or anything like that. But he did. He impressed me as far as like somebody said something that's really real. As long as he's good at making sure that everybody's still eligible to receive the ball. Remember that's like this play right here. Here it comes.
This right here was.
Now this is also Davis making incredible decision. You know what I'm saying? It's really on him.
Because Davis makes this play, and then the play right after it, I was just like, oh wow, okay, Davis.
Yeah, he keeps the ball alive, and he keeps them eligible for a good time. He's pretty savvy. The old line still has some work to do for sure.
Definitely.
Absolutely have some work to do. But I was impressed. Mostly, I ain't gonna lie to you. I know we're already into it, but there's two guys. I told my dad. I said 31, and of course Taven Wallace. I said pros. They'll play on Sunday. And that's Harrison. Harrison in the corner. I said he's a pro. It's and I love it because right now he's still so early in it that he's small still, but man, he's so fast and he flies to the ball. Takes good angles.
What year is he? What year is he? Sophomore, junior?
Harrison?
No, Ray Davis.
Ray Davis. Oh, he's
a
a senior.
senior, right?
He's a senior.
Yep.
Okay. He's a senior.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just.
I think he had
good. It looks good coming out of his hands, and I have complete confidence that it's a great pass every time he throws it. For whatever reason. But
right, and it is Akron, but we know that. But
yeah, of course.
But as far as the pass, you still got to make a pass. You still got to get it. I'm still, like you mentioned, the interception. The interception he threw was on Dane. I told my dad, we were sitting behind Dante. We got to talk to Dante for a little bit. My dad got to talk to Dante for a little bit, and it's like, man, something's going on, man, because that's not characteristic of him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not characteristic of him, and so on that one interception he threw, Daniel's supposed to turn the other way, went the other way, right to the player. It wasn't even on Leary. It was wide open. Even Liam Cohen said he was frustrated because like it's execution. You can't do that in the SEC.
Right.
You do that SEC, you lost 7 points. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if Key had a catch.
I don't think
He's slowly moving down the board, man. He's slowly. You got Anthony Brown, who's the speed, one of the other speedsters. Of course, Barryon is going to do this thing, but also Robinson. Him and Leary have a good connection right now, and so they're moving towards that whole thing of where because we're getting to, of course, tougher play. It's not about just throwing the ball and sharing the ball everywhere around.
Right.
It's about if you're open, you're open. We're throwing it to you. It's not just like how we got to a roll. Even Levis was really bad at that. The ball could be, it could be a dude so uncovered 30 yards downfield, but he's going to throw it to Wandale.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not that. Liam doesn't want that. He's like, it's being condensed now to where
we have more options this year. We have more options this year. We shouldn't be doing that. If we are doing that, something's going on. In the type of QB that Larry is, he's going to spread it around. If you're open, he's going to throw it to you. You just got to get open, So, but here's the weird thing. This is a weird thing I want to mention about this offense. We've harped on this offense for 3 weeks now. So week 1, we play Ball State and win 44-14. Week 2, play EKU, struggle bus, big time, struggled 28-17. Barely got out of there. Tell you the truth. We come back again against Akron and we win 35-3. And in these games, we're constantly talking about the offense, constantly talking about, man, we should have done better. We should have done this. We should have done that. But then when you look at the efficiency ratings, we're number 2 in the SEC. And it's like, I see on Twitter, I was trying to pull it up. I didn't pull it up fast enough for the show, but we're like up there in the nation too. And it's just like, how are we showing this good, but then we still have all these issues? Yes, I know we're playing cupcakes, but we play cupcakes every year. And we don't say this. You know what I'm saying? It's just a weird spot right now for Kentucky football. It's like we've taken another step. We have the talent. You can see that. And so when these issues show up, it's more blatant, even though we're higher in efficiency. Go ahead, Dietrich. It looked like that you was deep in thought.
Yeah, when you talk about the offense, with a pro-style offense, sometimes you can get so programmatic that you lose explosiveness, excitement. And I think it's what we're missing, the explosiveness, the excitement. I don't know if the guys are having fun in the offense yet. They look, like you said, the efficiency is there. And Leary he's making connections. And when you look at the end of the game, you go, oh, wow, they kind of quietly, he kind of quietly did his job, but it didn't look spectacular. And so I think the fun element is what we're waiting to see. When they put it all together, when the guys start really having fun in that offense, then you're going to see, that may be what's going on with Key a little bit, just kind of fitting in, because, he's an explosive player. He's a player that can be explosive. So is Robinson. So we have that. We have it all in the package. But I'm just waiting for that fun to kick in where they just really go boom.
You know what I think it is? With this offense? There's 2 issues. Number 1, we're going too slow. I think everybody's saying that we're hiking the ball with under 5 seconds on the play clock. We should be going a little bit faster because we only got 49 plays in. And actually, the few plays that we're getting in per game is one of the reasons why we're not scoring all those points like that, and we're still high in efficiency. But I think the biggest problem here is Liam Cohen came in. He installed a new offense. The concept is the same, but the plays aren't exactly the same. The terminology might have changed just a little bit on there. And then you've gotten, I don't want to call them inexperienced players because they got experience last year, but they're not the upperclassmen. They're the younger players. They're less experienced, put it that way. And they're trying to learn this. One thing about, and anybody that's in the audience that's listening right now, if you play football in college football and you had a lot of turnover, you understand what I'm saying here. When you change coaches like that and you're an upperclassman, you've been through it a time or two, you begin to learn tricks on how you can learn this playbook faster. You start conceptualizing things so you learn it in chunks and not
like
a little
Cliff
bit
Note
at a time. Yes, and you catch on a lot faster. When you're younger and you haven't actually been through that, it takes you a little bit longer to catch on to a playbook, let alone a pro style playbook. Because if you look at it, the guys that are not having issues, Tavion Robinson, Ray Davis. Those are your upperclassmen guys. Dane. We keep talking about Dane Key because he's local, but also you have Barry Brown. He's actually been kind of not as he was last year, not as of yet.
he's down on the list.
Take it all the way. Now I know this person's issue is a little bit different, but take it all the way down to the line. You got Jagger Burton at center that if you look at Pro Football Focus, his rating was dead last on the team. Just having issues there. And I think a lot of it is just new playbook, new OC, you're young. So it works in our favor for us to have these 3 cupcakes. You know what I'm saying?
I think the speed is what you said is really key. And we're going to have to get faster because when we play the better teams with faster defenses, and this line is not going to give him the time to really progress through. He's going to have to make quick decisions. They're going to have to play faster. Yeah. And they're going to have to get in a groove. And that may be part of, like you said, the limited amount of plays that they're going to play. They want to kind of have a script, go by it, go fast, not have to think, not have to be improvisational. And that is a pro style offense. You don't rely on yards after the catch in order to make your offense. You rely on the play itself, not simply the improvisation of your talented kids. And so a kid like Robinson that can do both, well, that's why he's looking good right now, right? Mm-hmm. He can get yards after the catch. He can be explosive on the top end into a secondary. He can do that. But some of the kids that are just learning to do both, they're a little unsure. That makes them second guess. And then you don't get that explosiveness. And the timing, I think, is going to get better. It's going to have to, because Florida's coming to town, Georgia, Tennessee, we're going to have to get fast.
Hey, I know that Bama had a rough go at it this week, but Bama as well. We're facing them. Go ahead, PJ.
Yeah.
Real quick, I know the Louisville fans are biting at the bit to talk. Just real quick, I wanted to mention something was that I think being there, man, I think the speed is definitely there. Of course, guys are going to have to get, as you mentioned, they're younger. And as you mentioned, some guys, their training takes a little bit longer as far as the weight-wise. People think it's so easy to put on weight, and it's not. Especially if your metabolism is a certain way, if you're built a certain way, it just is what it is, right? We heard the story about Perry Stevenson, not switched to basketball, 20 Pop-Tarts a day. He still was 95 pounds soaking wet. You know what I'm saying? Just some people just built different, not weird, built differently. And so that's kind of the case. Barry, they're trying to get Barryon involved. I think what you're seeing now is that he has eyes on him now. Last year he came in as a freshman, whether it's non-conference or SEC, right? Robinson has more film because he played somewhere else and he did decent somewhere else. So they knew about him. Here comes this kid who is a freshman. Now he's not only on their radar because he's already on the NFL radar, right? He's on their radar now too. So I think you're seeing a lot more eyeballs on him. So now he's having to adjust to that, right? Same thing with Dane. Dane's having to adjust. Guys are attacking them, right? But I love their response. And to what you said about the offense, I read Justin Rowland who said, he pointed out, he was like that, and this is including non-conference games, right? Non-conference games included, Levis his average target was like 8 yards compared to now you're looking at 11.5 rounded up to 12 for Leary, which is that's a significant jump when it comes to my average of yards of your target downfield. So we are going downfield a lot more. I think, me personally, I would love to see us go exclusively to Davis in the backfield and have him carry let him get as many carries he want to get. I don't care. I actually don't care. Everybody else, they have to deal with it.
Okay,
do something better than him.
Let me
do
say
something
this.
better than him, Ward.
Let me say this about Ray Davis.
I was surprised he didn't have 100 yards. I was surprised.
Yeah.
Well, he had all purpose. Both with receiving and catching.
Yeah,
receiving
because
and rushing.
That's the thing about our running backs this year. I think in the years past, we look at Benny Snell, we look at C-Rod, and we see those workhorses, and we see those 100-yard games. We have to understand that this man that we have probably is as good as those guys. I don't want to say better. I know some people have said that, better. I'm going to say he could be as good as those guys, but it's going to look different because of the type of player he is. He's more explosive than both of those guys, and he showed that. I know we just played Akron, but he actually showed that because when he took that broken play and took it to the house, I was just like, whoa. Because I started thinking, okay, Benny Snell, he might make it around that corner, but he's going to get walked down from behind at some point.
Yeah.
Then C-Rod, he might be a little bit faster than Benny Snell, but he's not getting ready to do that right there. So I was just like, oh, okay, we got something a little bit different here because I seen him against Vandy. I didn't know he was that fast because at Vandy, he was killing us in between the tackles. Now he comes out, and it's just like, okay, I'm getting ready to take it to the house when I want to. Not saying that he can do that against SEC talent because we just played Akron, but I'm just saying that's something that we.
But he has already though. He was a 1,000-yard runner last year. He was a 1,000-yard runner.
Yeah, he's already been in the SEC. Yeah.
Even though he was at Vanderbilt, he was still playing in the SEC, so he's already accustomed to it. Of course.
Yeah.
And they beat us, of course.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Right.
But he's already went through that as far as
PJ, you cut out on us. But I just want to mention one thing real quick because I have one Louisville fan that's biting at the bit, and I know he's ready to mention this. And it's actually been a hot topic on Twitter, and I was listening to Matt Jones, and he actually mentioned it as well. Yes, Louisville fans, we play a cupcake out-of-conference schedule. That includes y'all too. Now, so deal with it, okay? We're sorry. As fans, I think PJ said it last week. As fans,
all right, host, you stepping over a little bit, man.
I know.
We've been patient.
I know I am.
30 minutes.
I gotta say it.
Of burning ears. Quit making excuses for your schedule.
Okay, he doesn't want us to say it. He doesn't want us to say it, guys. But
get some milk. Get some milk with them cupcakes. Them carbs are killing you, bro.
We've been playing cupcakes.
Them carbs are killing you.
And we've been having issues as well. So we've been working them out against the cupcakes.
All right? I took some game notes, Mr. Washington. I watched the first half. You got to give me a lot.
I got something to say too, but I'll let Perry say what he's got to
the first half
because he's stepping on
everybody that I saw. Now I'm gonna be nice.
What are you talking about? What foolery?
The turnover tire. Let's just talk about the turnover tire.
Oh,
y'all played a team that was so pathetic they couldn't come up with anything better than an old rubber tire to celebrate turnovers. And the commentator
that's what they want to do. That's what they want to do.
Yeah. To say they could use it as a touchdown tire too.
Hey,
needless
that's
to say,
what they want to do. We ain't got nothing to do with that.
Hey, isn't Goodyear up there or something like that?
What'd you say?
It looked like an old used tire that they pulled off the side of the highway before they pulled into the stadium.
It does.
The other part I found a little astounding to me was watching SEC players talking smack to the MAC. That just sort of messed with me. I'm like, man, are y'all not up for this game that y'all have to talk smack to a program that ain't even worth mentioning? Akron Zips.
All right.
Their name is literally an embarrassment.
For the fans that are watching, this is an example.
There was stuff that's happening before the game, though.
But you still got to be big, man. You still got to be the bigger team.
No. Bro. There's things happening in the game, and when cheap shots happen, a lot of stuff escalates, and that's just is what it is. That's kind of what level it is. If you hit my brother, we going at. I don't care who you are. You know?
But at the same time, though, it doesn't matter what level of talent that you play against. You know, some people's just going to trash talk just to trash talk. I'll tell you, for myself, you guys know me outside of athletics, outside of playing. I don't trash talk at all. I don't trash talk with you guys. But when I was in between the lines and I was playing, you guys can ask some of my teammates. I trash talk a lot, you know, and it wasn't just because it was just because it was competition. It was just because it was competition. It was something that I was into, that I was ready to, you know, I'm going to get into this person's head. I'm getting ready to do this. You know,
you didn't play for USC.
Okay, so we got to mute his mic. So it's just something that you do. You know, it's not. Oh, this team is better, so I'm gonna trash talk against them. Oh, this team is weak. I'm not gonna say anything. No, you're gonna bring it against the weak as well as the strong. It's something that you do. So for a player like myself, can't speak for everybody, but you have these teams that play down to talent. Sometimes it just gets you going, and it got me going. I get into that person's head, and one of the best feelings was I'll beat you and smile in your face and talk about you, and you be mad at me because you couldn't stop me. You know, and I'm just using myself as an example, but there's a lot of other players that's the same way. It doesn't matter about who you're playing against. I'm sorry, I know I'm dominating the mic, but go
just
ahead.
a fun fact: Dietrich was right. Goodyear, their national base is in Akron, Ohio.
Goodyear is up there. That's why they do it.
Okay.
All right. First
See,
off,
they're supporting the local economy.
Oh, I was also
They got endorsements to do that. They got endorsed to do that.
I've been right a lot, Lathan. I've been right a lot.
Okay. Go ahead.
Let me put my 2 cents. I think one of the problems with UK fans is you all have one little victory and you all do like Dallas Cowboy fans and y'all put these Kool-Aid glasses on and it's, boy, we're going to have a great year. But you all don't stop to look at the fact that Akron was running all through y'all's offensive line. I mean, I'm looking at the stats here, and they had 7 tackles for loss. Now, this is a team that only won 2 games last year and went 1-7 in the MAC. And they already coming in here getting beat down before they got to you all. And they're playing at home in supposed SEC line that's supposed to be ready for the SEC. And you all didn't understand it could have been 2 sacks in that game instead of him getting that, instead of Ray Davis running that lucky touchdown. I'm not gonna say lucky because the dude, that is the one guy. I agree with you, PJ, agree with you, Dietrich. That dude will be playing on Sunday. Yeah, he is an NFL caliber back. However, that wouldn't have been a touchdown if they, one more play or one, but then again, this is Akron, but the fact that that line was able to penetrate y'all's offensive line all game long.
Well,
and you all got 35 points, but it was a goofy, sloppy 35 points. I mean, come on now. One of the first plays in the first quarter, y'all got down there and then had an interception in the red zone. Y'all had touchdowns called back for holdings. Y'all had, and then turned around and threw. That's what it was. Touchdown called back for holding. Then turned around and threw a pick. You all. It was the goofiest 35 points on a team that y'all should have had 35 points in the first half. Just maybe it's execution, but this is the third game
It didn't sound as what you thought it was going to sound like.
Yeah, it sounded like a.
Go ahead, cue the music, Richie. Wait a minute. Just a second. I wanted to make one last point.
You all need to curb your enthusiasm, okay? You all, oh man, I got
some positive stuff to say. I got some positive stuff.
Can I jump in? I need to jump in. I need to jump in real quick. I want to say, in my whatever you want to call it, monologue or whatever, I did mention Jagger Burton. Jagger Burton is the center on the on our offensive line.
Cox too.
He was
messed
Cox
up too.
Cox is not the center. I'm talking about the center. He was rated at very last. If you want to look at Pro Football Focus, he had a horrible game. That was mentioned already. I think somebody here, I think it was Dietrich or PJ, had also mentioned that the O line,
talked about y'all's offensive line
is coming along.
Y'all was on Ray Davis.
We're not calling this the Big Blue Wall. We're not there yet. Nobody's calling this the big blue wall.
The paper bag. That's what you
see.
I think even again, my bad.
No, I was gonna say that Richard in Mark Stoops' post game comments, he had already hinted that they're going to be looking at changes on the O line. So nobody is going to say, "Hey, this is the big blue wall. This is it," because we're not there yet at all. But I agree with you on it. Go ahead.
Yeah, Cox is the guy. Yeah. Go ahead, PJ.
I was gonna say there's pieces there. It's just not as a collective. It's not there yet. Right. And as you said, that comes with it. even being there was some times that I ain't gonna lie. There was sometimes even the tackle for a loss was when I ain't about to get to name calling, but it wasn't the guy I want running the ball who's back there doing. Bro, hit your. That's one thing I love about Ray Davis. Even though he got tackled backfield before too as well, is that it's like he's a step ahead. As you mean, like a Sunday player. Even with Benny, one thing I appreciate about Benny is that once he sees it and he's there, he's gonna see it. He rarely missed where he's supposed to go. And he got downhill with it. Benny. I was saying
like
Benny.
Benny Snell.
I said Benny.
Who?
Yeah, you should know.
That guy
former
that
Pittsburgh
we cut.
Steelers running back.
He don't play for Pittsburgh no
The
more.
former
We cut
Pittsburgh
him.
Steelers
We gave him
running back.
2 years and he's out.
No, yeah, that's good. That's perfectly fine. Lonnie's balling out right now.
He was not a Sunday player.
Lonnie's balling out right now on special teams right now. Lonnie Johnson's balling out right now, so we could.
But anyway,
my
Benny
point.
Snell, I was just trying to correct.
I know. I'm just saying.
He was not a Sunday player. Well,
no,
maybe
I'm just saying.
Sunday for 2
when I say he's a
seasons.
Sunday player, what he got picked up by a team, correct? He played on a couple Sundays. He's fine. He's fine. He's a Sunday player.
Hey.
The NFL is hard to make it. It's hard to make it. But anyway, my point is that when you see the whole attack and Ray Davis like that, when he sees his spot, he knows where he's going. Where I feel like even now, McClain is still slow on his pickups with it. So like to me, definitely they deserve a lot of knack for with how they played and as a collective and stuff like that. But there's also some shared blame. Like I said, being there, you've seen it firsthand. You can see it firsthand. Like, man, like I won't say it's all on them because there's sometimes even when they did the Harrys that Larry was back there for a little bit. And I mean, you can only hold up without getting a holding call. You can only hold your block for so long.
I don't think the. I'm sorry, Lathan. I was waiting.
Go ahead.
But go ahead, Lathan. Go ahead. No, you
No,
go
I was
ahead.
gonna say this ain't the big blue wall at all by any means, but it is. I would say a lot better than what it was last year at this time. Still got a ways to go.
I don't know, dude. Y'all, I don't know. I have to go back and look at that.
I don't think that was a hold. That
y'all are pretty bad now.
I don't think that was.
Well,
that wasn't as bad of a holding call as it could have been. I've seen worse, and I've seen people get away with holding calls like that. So, in your offense, when they called that holding call, I was like, he just grabbed his jersey a little bit. It's not like he.
But a grab is a grab, regardless. A grab is a grab. He didn't need to do that. Number one, because the play was already out of his.
Yeah, that's the worst part about it is if he had not done it at all, the pass still would have been made, and it still would have
exactly.
Been
so
the guy was so far away.
Once again,
it was
this is
really
stuff
bad.
that's going to get exposed next week when y'all play Vandy. I know Vandy is not top line SEC; they're bottom feeder, but they're a better team than Akron. So, and like I said, and that's Vandy. Then you all have after that Florida. Florida's going to up in that.
I like how the Louisville fan has the Kentucky schedule. I like how the Louisville fan has the Kentucky schedule. Yeah. Who do we play after Florida?
Podcast, so listen, cards. I need to be knowledgeable of the enemy.
One thing I know,
you need to be knowledgeable of the tools of the devil so that you can be very.
When is homecoming?
Understand and protect yourself.
I thought y'all already played homecoming. Y'all done played 3 homecoming games. You play the weakest people for homecoming.
So we got to leave home to have a homecoming.
All right, y'all. 38 minutes in, we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about these cards against Indiana. It sounds like it should have been a basketball game, but here we go. Let's check these guys out. Let's see what they was doing over here.
Plummer pumps to the flat. Plummer takes a shot. He's got his
All right,
right there. That pass right there is a terrible pass. That was a terrible pass.
Hey,
everybody's jumping for joy, but the dude had to come to a stop and let the defender catch up to him.
Looking at Devin Neal Jr., look at him.
Ron English is defensive coordinator with them from Purdue. On third down through the hands.
Yeah, I forgot that.
That was a terrible pass on their part. He just
I forgot
threw right
that Jeff Brown
into
was very familiar with Indiana.
Well, the dude dropped the ball too. He had the ball. It went straight through his hands. It was actually he was very catchable.
And see, look. I think Plummer's got mechanics problems because I kept watching these passes over and over and over, and he puts too much arch on it, and the defender is able to catch up, and that's what's hindering a lot of these plays because the defender's able to catch it. Like that interception that we had in the second half, that was purely Plummer delayed throwing the ball, and the defender's caught up.
Well, if you look at his throwing motion, it looks like he has a really
He's got a
windy
quick
throwing
release,
motion.
but he just on the passes
something
where
to do with
he
his
doesn't
height,
have
I
to
wanna
arch it,
say.
he can zip it in there real fast. But on them arch passes where he's got to put some air under it, he's just lofting it. I mean, so I think it might be a mechanics problem.
Yeah, probably so.
But no, I'm gonna play the music on this too because we're not gonna get overhyped. We curbing our enthusiasm today.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that's got to be concerning for Louisville fans is you guys have had 2 out of 3 games. It's been a tale of 2 halves for you guys. You know, you got the Georgia Tech game. You guys look great. What was that? The second half, first half, you stunk it up. Mary State is just Mary State. Then you come into Indiana, and it looks like that you dominated them the first half, but then the second half, it's like, you know, this is the second half.
I ain't
right here.
even
It's
gonna
like,
say
what
we
happened,
let off the
you know?
gas. I'm not even gonna say that.
I think we
I'm
got
not gonna
scared.
say
I think that onside kick took the confidence out of us, and we started playing on our heels. We started playing on our heels, and we just could. Yeah, we playing tight. Oh shoot, they tricked us. And there was something that Brahm said in the press conference that he said he knew it was coming, and I think that was a lie because
I
if you
knew
knew it was coming, then you
as well.
you would have prepared for that. But the thing, that's what he said. But if you knew it was coming, you should have prepared for it. Had your team prepared for it. But I think at that point, Louisville was still advancing the ball up and down the field. They just wasn't executing, or it was stupid decisions. Like I said, but Indiana, they always had it in them. Like I said, I told you I was going to be a close game because I watched how they played Ohio State, and I watched how they played Indiana
was pretty
State.
good.
Yeah, I told you they had a good defense, and they had some playmakers in the skilled positions. What's his name? That dude right there. And then their running back, he's a playmaker too. He's probably going to be playing on Sunday. But the thing I did not like about Indiana was the fact that their offensive line was gimmicky. They looked like they were doing some stuff that any other team in the Big Ten will expose them. And that's why they're not able to get that's not how, like they failed on that 4th down conversion there. So, but Louisville, on the other hand, this stupid play, that was the quarterback's fault. I mean, throw it away, dude. You ain't got nothing down there, throw it away.
Lamar Jackson used to do the same thing.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson did.
He would just be backpedaling like, I'm going to get out of this guy. And next thing you know, 10-yard loss.
But a lot of times Lamar did, though. This guy's not Lamar.
Yeah. No, I mean, but he did, but he took some bad sacks too, though. But I'll say this. This is where you saw how good your quarterback was there. He made plays out of nothing. What I felt like we played tight in the second half after that onside kick, and then they scored. And it's like we didn't make any adjustments at halftime because we didn't have to because we dominated the first half. And it's like you really have to be a next level coach to start gaming against yourself for adjustments that are being made against you so that you know what's coming. And I don't think Brahm did that. And so Indiana made adjustments. First half, the thing that was really burning us was the guy out of the backfield, the running backs out of the backfield, the tight end coming off the line. All of those things burned us. And if you watch the game closely, we really didn't blitz. And when we did, it was like undisguised. And when we tried to disguise it, it would end up in a offsides on the defensive line. And so the other thing is a lot of our penalties have come from the offensive line and the defensive line. We're seeing a lot of that from where, really the offensive line, they'll have a false start. Typically when somebody has an false start, it's because they're really having problems with who they're trying to defend against. And so that tells you how good IU's defensive line was. They were pretty decent, All in all, though, our offense performed pretty well in both halves. We just couldn't make the plays in the second half to put the game away. There were some points where we could have put the game away, regained the momentum. That interception down the field where the
That
guy,
was
the
right
ball
there at the one.
hit
That
the
was
guy
like
in the
at the
chest,
3.
bounced
Yeah.
off his hand, and he like literally offered it up to the defensive back. So the defensive back had to have been an excellent guy. Most defensive backs drop that or they knock it down on accident. So I mean,
But if I may say, on that play alone, he slowed down because the ball was underthrown, really, and the two defenders converged. Had that been thrown while in stride, that was an easy touchdown. And over the defenders, that would have been an easy touchdown. But you take that missed opportunity on the touchdown and the missed field goal in our first possession. That was 10 points right there. I watched the post-game show, watched the coach, Indiana's coach, I can't think of his name, talk about how they fought and how this would have been. They were talking, and one of the beat casts was talking about how, we could have won this game had we punched it in on that 4th down stop. And I'm thinking to myself, woulda, coulda, shoulda, that white stuff on top of bird crap is bird crap too. So you can say all you want about winning and wish you could have won.
That was a bad call by them. Because when you're in that position, you need a quick strike. That was a slow developing play up the middle. And it was like, because you have to get your blocking in position. They didn't do any play
action or nothing through 4 stops.
You could tell what it was. And you have to get your blocking in position, but guess what? While you're doing that, the defense is getting in position as well too. And it was a horrible call by them. It was a horrible call by them. A better call, who knows? You guys could be going in overtime right there. But with that call,
I don't think we would have been going in overtime because it was enough time for us to get down there and kick a field goal. However, like I said, all aspects of Louisville's game failed that didn't do a good job the game. The offensive line, but they still gave up 2 sacks. They still gave up tackles for loss. Now, of course, it's Indiana. This ain't accurate, but still, of all the aspects of the line, I would have to say the receivers did their job, except no, I can't take it because the dude did bat that back to the defender. The run game, I'm surprised our run game is still clicking. Your boy still got 100 yards running. What's his name?
Jawar Jordan.
Yeah, he still got over 100 yards rushing. So our stars, our studs got fed. Thrash got over 100 yards receiving. We did only do
85-yard touchdown against a pretty good secondary. They really held down Ohio State. Now, you might say it's the first game of the year for both of them, but they really held down Ohio State as much as they could before they bursted out.
Well, I've been impressed with Thrash anyway. I mean, I think what did we hear the first game that he came from Southern Georgia or something like that, or Georgia State or something like that? Georgia Southern.
Georgia Southern, next door to Georgia Tech. Yeah.
So coming from there and then coming to Louisville and doing what he's doing in the ACC, it's pretty impressive.
Same conference. So here's the thing. It's the same conference. So here's the thing.
Are you trying to cut a funny? Is
Mr. Acrozips?
Wait a minute.
Is the MAC champion representative trying to cut a funny?
No, look. I'm just saying.
You trying to throw shade? I was being nice. I
I'm joking. We gotta have some fun.
What
I was gonna say is I was gonna echo about Thrash though. Like I've him and Jordan for sure have been of course easily. Anybody can see it. The highlights for Louisville, really, Thrash and Jordan, they've been really impressive. I understand you tempering your expectations because, again, Indiana's supposed to go 3-9 in their conference. They're only supposed to beat Akron by 17. Even though it's a home game. So they're not the greatest of teams either. They're like a Vandy, right? And then playing the team like Vandy. They shut you out in the second half, and that's what to me is kind of because you did look down. Like for real, I ain't gonna lie. First half, same thing. I was watching. I'm like, man, they about to beat this team by 40. And when I was shocked when I see one of my friends complaining because I'm on Twitter more than Facebook, was like, man, he started just going off. I'm like, y'all, no way, y'all was just about 40. I thought y'all was gonna be about 40, and I was wrong again. Plummer is the main guy that catches a lot of the strays or direct hits. People are not really pleased with him. So it's going to be interesting to see how who's y'all's next. Like when I say big game, I'm not talking about, again, I'm not going through the whole toughest schedule thing. I'm talking like who's your game next that you feel like is like.
Okay, our next 3 games are Boston College, which is, I would have said they were on the same level as Vandy, but after they made Florida State sweat this weekend, I don't know. Then North Carolina State and then Notre Dame. Notre Dame.
So before Notre Dame, like you're thinking like North Carolina State's probably the game where it's like because North Carolina State usually has a decent they're usually like a good, like solid program. You know what I'm saying?
I would rank North Carolina State on the level of
y'all took their players, so they better be.
I would rank them on the level of maybe South Carolina or Mississippi State.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say like they're like a South Carolina,
Yeah.
Mississippi State, where like
Yeah,
they can have like a
ability to
mid-year.
knock you off if you're not watching.
Yeah, facts. So like you're like that's the next game where it's kind of like really gonna be, but also not overlooking Boston College, of course, because like you said, they played Florida State tough, so you got to be prepared. Which to me, that's conference play, man. Like conference play, man. I've seen Kentucky have some horrible teams, and we still, even though we still lose the game, we right there at the end. I mean, I've cried at Hail Marys when I was a kid, bro. Like I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I kind of sort of agree with Lathan on that fact that you all play down to your competition. And this is probably these 3 games you all have in your own way have played down to the competition. I expected y'all to have 35 points on Akron before the halftime, and then cycling in your backups throughout the rest of the game.
Our backups played a lot of the time.
Most on defense. Yeah.
I'm glad
we got extra running backs in. I think they ran 5 different running backs.
Okay. Well, I expected, like I said, I expected to be a runaway train and people filing out at the second half because it was 35.
They were gone by halftime. I was there. They were gone by halftime. It's just that we have a good fan base. So we were still there.
Gone at halftime at 14-0. Y'all ain't, it was 14-0 at halftime.
Everybody knew the game was over. They knew the game wasn't
over. Y'all was
nobody
got that last touchdown in like the last minute and a half of the half. So it was really 7-0 all the way up to almost halftime.
Because there were minimum mistakes, bro.
That's one of those. Okay, this is Akron. They are not getting ready.
Okay, and y'all said that last week against Ball State. Is that what you're saying? See what I'm saying? Y'all. Oh, we too good for this. We don't have to worry about this. Okay,
last week was EKU. At EKU, they made us sweat.
All I know is y'all keep doing all these player tryouts against these teams. Y'all got a couple of guys from Northern Illinois after y'all beat them last year. Who y'all gonna get from EKU this year? And, who y'all gonna get from Akron this year?
That's some guys from EKU that's from Lexington, so I'm all for it. So
that is true. That is true, though.
I literally watched Cox get beat by Akron Zip on a pass play, and they killed Leary, and I'm like, that's what you get because y'all had a MAC player against a MAC player. Cox literally got obliterated.
And Leary came from North Carolina State, though. I thought that's where he came from.
Leary came from NC State.
But Cox is the left.
Like Cox.
Yeah, he was the guy that they got from Northern Illinois. He transferred in from Northern Illinois along with the linebacker. I don't know if the linebackers played yet. Was it a linebacker or
from Vandy, another school?
Rayner, he's played.
They beat us.
Yeah, Vandy beat us.
Them. They beat us. What are you talking about?
Vandy beat y'all last year?
Yeah, Vandy beat us last year.
Oh, that's right.
He had 100.
They had Davis.
That's right.
He had like 160 yards, 120 yards.
Equal in the SEC.
That's when we knew we had to have Ray Davis. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
which is not his only game. He had 105 on Ole Miss last year.
Make him join you.
But no, what I'm saying though, for real, again, Indiana to me, like I figured, what was the line was like 10, y'all won by like 7, which was cool. I ain't gonna lie, I was expecting like the way y'all played in the first half. I was like, man, they done found something. They clicked, but like you said, it's something about right now. Like I think for y'all, it's like making a balance with those halves, keeping that momentum sustaining. Because right now, it's either y'all gonna play really, really great in a half, and then play not so well in the other half, or it's either the first or second. It's not. You have to put it together. That's all it is.
I think what's going to happen is that's going to work out from with the rest of the games this season. Remember, this is Jeff Brom. This is his first year here coaching us, so there's a lot of chemistry, a lot of things he's got to get straight from his team, and the team has to believe in him and has to trust him and has to get that footing under with him. Now, next year at this time, I don't want to see stuff like that. If we're going to lose consistently, evenly throughout the game. We're not going to have a kick butt first half and then come out and fall on our face like we did this one. Now, with that being said, I have great props for the defensive line making that fourth down stop. Because that shows that, hey, we're going to fight, we're going to stop, we're going to stop this. I mean, last year they probably would have just folded and said, you know what, we'll just take our chances on the offense and hopefully they can come down here and score. But the defense stood up. I take my hat off to the running game. I mean, I've never seen – it's been a while since I've seen a running game this potent. Like probably Michael Bush. I probably go back to when Michael Bush is when I've seen a 1-2 punch on the running game, and they effectively getting yardage. When you hike the ball, they getting they right now. I think they averaged 4.9 yards per carry. They get
Jordan
that 5 yards.
10 yards per carry.
So your running game
for the game,
very
Indiana
potent.
for a game against Indiana, Louisville rushed for the average 4.9 yards per rushing play. So even still, that's 5 yards right there. I don't think I've seen Louisville have a running game this potent in a long time. So I got to give that. Our receiving game has always been good, but this year it really seems exceptional. Our receivers, yeah.
I think the last time that your receivers has been good is when you guys had what's the short, fast guy that I think he's at
you want to say Harry Douglas? No, dude,
no, not Harry Douglas. Perry, you know what I'm talking about? He's recent. He's recent.
Yeah, he's a recent guy.
What's his name?
Tutu Atwell.
Tutu Atwell. Yeah, Tutu Atwell. I think that was the last time
they were decent, but this room is better than last year. Wasn't no good. We had one good guy, and he didn't have breakaway speed. He just had very good. He's the guy that caught the touchdown against Kentucky at the end of the game. He had good catch radius. He had okay yards after catch. He was physical, but he didn't have breakaway speed. These guys that we got here, they're pretty good. All the receivers are pretty good. I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from our receiving room.
Can I mention that?
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I'm sorry. My bad.
Go ahead, man.
No, I was going to mention that Boston College lost to Northern Illinois. So if y'all lose this game,
hey, they beat us like they were our bandy last year. They beat us last year. They beat us last year.
Y'all complained about how last 2 podcasts that we was running our mouths, and here it is, y'all throwing all this smack. Y'all have to watch out for this.
I still don't think Vandy playing real good
ball. Up and beat y'all again. I think that will tie up the overall win-loss series between UK and Vandy, right? See, you don't talk about our schedule. Y'all get past Vandy first, right?
Well, I'll say this.
Vandy's got a winning record against UK?
I don't know.
No, it's UK 51, Vandy 49.
Look, we know who brought out all the stats. I did not know that myself. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, see? So watch your mouth now. Watch your mouth.
But Philemon, that was our Vandy last year. Boston College beat us, and we were favored in the game. They were lighting us up down the field on long passes, and it was and they're wide receivers in the NFL right now, starting in the NFL. Zay Flowers.
I would say if Kentucky loses to Vandy on Saturday, that I think the outlook for the season for a lot of the fans
it's an arbiter.
It's just canceled in the next episode.
It's an arbiter to the season. But I don't think
there might not be a Cats versus Cards after that week. Now, just
I don't think Louisville has played a really great game. Now, preface a great game in any of the 3. Well, obviously the cupcake in
Murray State,
cupcake in the middle, but I'm just thinking about Georgia Tech and Indiana, the 2 real teams you played. Indiana got out to a slow start. You guys looked really good in the first half, but they figured you out. And if there was more time on the board, they would have kept going. And you held on in the end. I give kudos to Louisville. But a couple of bad play calls is the difference between you guys threatening overtime and winning this game by 1 touchdown. They started slow. You guys started hot. You played a great half, but you did not play a great
thing I can
entire game.
Okay.
We played 3 good quarters against Georgia Tech. We dominated them for 3 quarters. There's the 1 quarter that we fell apart. If you watch the game, first quarter, we were moving the ball. We missed the field goal. We moved the ball, hit another field. We didn't miss the field goal. We had to settle for field goals on our first 2 or 3 possessions against Georgia Tech. And then we were holding them in the first quarter. Second quarter, that's when the wheels came out. Third quarter, fourth quarter, totally dominated.
But Georgia Tech
wasn't a full game. I give you that.
Georgia Tech made mistakes that you guys capitalized on.
We made mistakes
Indiana didn't get their stuff together until the second half. And once they did, it was game on. Now, to Louisville's credit, they held them on in the fourth quarter. They held them. And even though you guys didn't score the entire second half, not a field goal, not a safety, nothing. You guys didn't put no points on the board.
That's typically how good teams play, though. A lot of times good teams do that.
let me say
It
this.
was not on
What good
Indiana.
team?
That was not Indiana because Louisville put themselves in position to score but failed to execute. Not because
Several
Indiana
times.
did anything. They were just there in the right time, right spot to get. I mean, here you
See
got
all the time.
an interception that's given to you because our receiver deflected the ball back to you. Okay, we have a kicker who missed the field goal on the 38-yard line. It was a 38-yard field goal. This is a field goal that everybody in college should be making. So I'm saying this is not something that Indiana did per se. I mean, I give it to them. Okay, we had to kick a field goal, yes, but we put ourselves in the position
first
to
half.
score, but we failed to execute. See what I'm
That's
saying?
slow
We
start.
failed to do those
Desperate
things.
team. To that
Because
last
you
play
look at the
call, they
stats,
played like a
and here
desperate
come
team
the
to me.
stats. Here comes the stat thing. Get your reverb ready, Lathan. The stats
Go
are
ahead.
we had 422 total yards in that game. Yes, it wasn't a 500-yard game, but we still moved the ball in both halves. We still moved the ball in both halves.
They
We
had
had
almost
just as many first
360.
downs. Huh?
They had almost 360 yards.
Our
They moved the
defense.
ball on you too a little bit.
I didn't say they didn't.
They just
I didn't say
didn't
they
do it
didn't. But you're
consistently
saying
through the whole game.
Tell quote the run stats, Richie. What's the run stats from that game for Indiana? A running team.
The run stats for Indiana. Let's see here. Total rushing yards 58. This is a run team.
What's the per yard per carry? How many
yards
carries?
per carry 2.1 yards per carry. See what I'm saying? If anything, Indiana is a good team. Their defense is good. Okay, I give them that. But they did not, quote unquote, figure Louisville out. Louisville shot themselves in the foot. I think when they came out and that onside kick smacked us in the mouth and took our self-confidence, took the wind out of us. And we started being tight and conservative and thought we could hold it. Oh, we up 3 scores. Oh, they done came down and scored quick. Okay, all right, well, let's start to get a little bit serious.
You played a bad second half.
Falling apart.
You played a bad second half. You're not such a good team that part of your game plan is to pitch a shutout, in the second half, as Perry just said. Good teams do that. I don't know any of them that do. But
good teams win after when the momentum is completely against them. They use a combination of talent.
That's okay.
To win.
And once again, this was
But
not.
I'll say this, guys, because this
Cardinal Stadium. This was not in the comfort of our homes, sitting in the comfort of our little our stadium. This was on the road up in Indiana, up in enemy territory. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
Y'all got
Indiana,
the real
the
Indiana
swamp.
team coming though.
The swamp. Y'all went to the swamp,
Hey,
didn't you?
We beat them before.
All right, so but I'll say this.
Do y'all play Florida at Florida, or do y'all play Florida in
they play at Florida, and they play Tennessee at Tennessee.
Boy, he got
Win
everything
Dixie
over
Stadium.
there. I'm telling you.
I'm
But
sorry.
no, I'll just say
play
this.
them in,
I'll give Louisville props. I'll give Louisville props to this. You guys have played probably one complete game, and that was against Murray State. That was your cupcake, and you guys, you played a complete game. Kentucky, we've had 3 cupcakes. We haven't played a complete game yet. I think that I would even go as far as to say that how we played against Akron has been the best of the 3 so far, and still a whole lot of improvement to go. But Brom, he's playing with house money. He's playing with house money because this is first year back at Louisville. Louisville loves him. You guys are looking – I'm not going to say you guys are looking great, but you guys are looking all right. It looked like that he can do some damage this year. But as we wind down, I have to show some total gayness by – let me strike that from the record. I got to show some total whatever you want to call it from Louisville. This video is just funny to me. This is how Louisville get ready for the football season.
I can smell the jealousy.
Top gun, Louisville. Look at him. Look at Brom. Richard Perry, does it make you guys want to just run through a wall for Brom? Is that what it does? Does it get you guys hyped for the football season?
Be Vladimir Putin's coming out without tape. Is that what
Look at this. Ah, that's so cute. That's so cute. I love it.
I tell you this.
This the music they should have played.
I thought this season was going to be set up for him to win and do good this year, but he has just as many. Well, take that back. Florida got ranked. I was going to say we have just as many ranked teams on our schedule as Kentucky does, but Florida just got ranked this week.
What's going on here?
Watch what he says. Watch what he
That
says.
makes 3 to
Just out here
4
playing
ranked
some
teams on
ball.
our. We have 3.
Watch what he
Y'all have
says.
'Why
4.
are we doing this? We're creating a team, Brady. Here's our team.
Oh, that's so cute. They created a team. I love it.
You know where you got that from, right?
I love it.
From the Top Gun movie.
Like the Top Gun Louisville football. Oh, that's
They
so
give it. They
pretty.
give
I
it
thought it was-
piggyback rides. And you
Yeah.
I
fail.
thought it was cold. I don't care what anybody says.
All
Piggyback
right,
rides.
let's wrap
It
this
took
up.
the Holies to do that.
Let's
So,
wrap this up. You guys have Boston College next week. You guys are back at the Pizza Pit, if you want to call it that. In Boston College, they had an impressive showing against Florida State, which has to make you guys scared for this week. Hopefully, they can't come in and beat you guys at home. What do you guys think? Give me a score. Give me a score.
I find it funny that both of us play teams that beat us last year, that shouldn't have beat us last year.
What is the line for this? What's the line for this?
14. Louisville
14 for both. Both teams
Okay.
14.
Gotcha.
I'll say 10. Louisville by 10.
A little about 10.
This is. Well, let me scratch it. Okay, let me think. This is. We're at home.
Perry, do they cover the spread?
I don't think we covered the spread. I say by 10. Louisville by 10.
Got you.
I say
Louisville by
38
10.
to 28. 38 to 28 or 43 to 24.
Oh, okay. All right, PJ,
Okay,
what
that's
you
covering the
think
spread
Louisville's
and
going to
then
do?
I think Louisville should win. I was going to say they was cover the spread. I know Florida State is coming off of a high energy win.
Yeah.
So they probably just didn't really approach Boston College how they should have and handle business like they should have. So I think Louisville will come in and I think they should try to put together 2 halves. They can. They'll definitely win by more than 21 to me.
Yeah.
But if they are doing what they have been doing, I feel like it's going to be that at least 14 they'll cover.
Got you.
I'm saying no to the cover. I'm saying no to the cover. I do think a team wearing red might win.
Well, Boston College is crimson.
Maybe
They're
by
crimson.
about 10 points.
Y'all,
Right.
Dietrich does better with his spiritual advice than he does with his sports advice. If you're making bets on what he's saying, don't
Hey,
lose your money.
I almost called the score for Kentucky's game last week. Check the tape.
Got you.
I called 35-10, and I said it really should be a shutout, is what I said. But
Now,
I said
I do
I didn't
recall
think it was
that.
going to be.
I do recall that. Yes.
Yeah.
I do recall
And,
that part.
but, we kept them out of the end.
I was the same way with Louisville. I was the
Okay,
same
so-
way. I said 24-14.
All right, so Kentucky goes to Vandy of all teams. I watched Vandy against Hawaii. I didn't get to watch any of their other games. They're completely
They didn't do good against Nevada, man.
Yeah, they're a different team. When they had Ray Davis, they was trying to run him like crazy. He had 1,000 yards against them, but they don't seem like that running type. They want to throw it all over the place. But do we cover?
still got their
PJ, do we
quarterback.
cover?
And they got their best wide receiver and their quarterback.
PJ, you
Fortunately, I
Keep that in
think
mind.
there you go.
I think we win. I think we win by 21, or at least more than 2 scores.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think we at least win by 17, 21 points.
Man, I
Gotcha.
can't.
How did they beat y'all last year?
I can't. I don't know, man. I mean, Davis
They're not
might
as good
go
as what it was
off on
last
his
year.
former team.
What'd you say?
You know,
10-3. Didn't y'all go 10-3 last year?
No, we didn't go 10-3 last year.
No, I said Vandy's not as good as what they were last year either. Like they're not as good. We're better than what we were last year.
Yeah.
They're not better than what they were last year.
I think we got more raw talent than what we had last year. We just got to.
I think I got more talent.
together.
But I don't think
Oh,
y'all
y'all
have
was
it.
But
7-6 last year.
Dietrich was talking, guys. Dietrich, go ahead.
no. Davis might go off on his former team just to, sometimes when you play a former team, you just want to, really shine.
Yeah.
And so we might see Davis really do some next level stuff. I'm not gonna say next level, but more of what he's capable of.
Mhm.
Continue to push. He might be one of his better games of the 4 games. I do think we win. I don't think it's a 3-score win. I think it may be about a 10-point win. I'm not confident in our offense ability to score. I don't think we cover the spread. I think we get out of there and with a win, but I think it's going to be more of a nail biter than we really want it to be.
Gotcha.
Everybody has scored everybody has scored 28 points or more against Vandy so far, except for Alabama A&M, who scored 13. If we don't score at least 28 points, throw the season away. Get them out of here.
He said, "I'm out of here."
Get them out of here.
He said,
They're
"I'm
not.
outta
They're,
here."
they are
We're
not.
gonna go from
They are
more victories to
significantly
more
worse. They are significantly worse than what they were last year.
Their last year.
So we should come in and score on this team, because if UNLV can run a 40, if Hawaii can score 28, we sure have way more talent and have enough coaching, good enough players to score 20 on this Vanderbilt team, away or home.
Yep. I agree
We
with
just
that.
scored.
I agree with that.
I'm
Perry,
sorry. I'm following Monday Night
so
Football game.
Perry Henderson, do we cover or do we not cover? What do you think?
They still got that, like I said earlier. I'm sorry for cutting people off, but they got the quarterback that they wanted. The one that was moving the ball on you guys, that guy has moved on. I think he's at Arkansas or I don't know, Mississippi State, something like that. But they got the quarterback that was the better passer, and then they've got their best wide receiver. Their defense was decently physical. They just looks like they're missing pieces. So I mean, it's down in Nashville, but that's not a home place for them when they're playing UK.
Right.
That's not a home field advantage for them. It's probably going to be a lot of blue. So I say you guys make the cover.
All right, Rich, you got the final say. What do you think?
Well, I'm a
Two
little
of the things
distracted
that
here.
we cover,
Monday
one
Night
don't think.
Football and my Steelers are playing the Browns, and at first we was getting the brakes beat off of us, but we done come back and take the lead over the Browns. So if we pull this off, it's a half. It'll be half here in a little bit. So as soon as we finish, I'm going to jump on that. But to answer your question, y'all cover. You all cover. I don't think Vandy's got the tools necessary. I mean, after seeing them fall apart at Wake, now.
Forgot they played Wake Forest. Yep.
Yeah, they played Wake Forest.
Wake beat the brakes off
that game, but Wake is not really impressing me this year. But after watching them play Wake, I think y'all got the tools. I think y'all cover 14. It'll be just 14. It won't be no blowout. It won't be no beatdown. And if you get 14, it'll be a backdoor cover, like last minute or last possession touchdown. So, yeah.
I actually think that we will cover. I think what PJ said, if we don't score a certain amount of points, just throw away the season. I actually think that we will. I think that after 3 weeks of our development or correcting mistakes or whatever, these guys will be locked in for SEC talent, for an SEC game, and it will be our best game of the season. I think it'll from the start to finish. I think it'll be the best game of our season because they'll be locked in. I won't compare it to the LSU game 2 years ago when Liam Cohen was the OC, but I think we're going to be locked into somewhat of that level, and we will cover. We will cover. Somebody has something to say.
My gut is just feeling like this is going to be closer to the EKU game than the Akron game.
Gotcha.
That's all.
Well, they have to show progress.
Yeah,
if they don't show progress, then the fan base is going to get louder, because the fan base is already, from what I see, is already making somewhat of some noise. If they don't show progress, it's going to get louder.
Yeah, because y'all need this to be bowl eligible before y'all get to the media schedule. Y'all need this victory. I mean, this, and then hopefully a win over Tennessee before y'all get into the media schedule where it's going to be impossible. So yeah,
the meat of our schedule is literally right after Vandy. We play.
No,
we play.
Hold on.
Well, yeah, because we go to Florida.
Florida, then we play Georgia,
then we go to Georgia,
then we play Tennessee.
Yeah,
Mississippi State, Alabama, and South Carolina. The weakest team on our schedule after Vandy is y'all.
But to your point, Richard, I agree with you. We do need this. We have to go into Florida. We have to go into Florida 4-0.
Yeah, y'all got to go into Florida 4-0 because y'all got to be able to
pull. We need to go into Georgia
5-0.
Yeah, so I completely agree with you on that. I completely agree with you.
I was just saying it's not the meat of our. The meat of our schedule is literally right after this Vanderbilt game. We hit right into Florida, right into Georgia, right into again some of the better teams. So,
and I'm surprised they didn't rank Missouri yet. They'll probably be ranked this week if they win.
Rank Missouri? Why would you rank Missouri?
Why would you rank Missouri?
They just
beat
61 yard
Kansas State.
I mean,
but Kansas State. though. An unranked Missouri beat number 17 Kansas. Number 17.
Give them some
Number 17
recognition.
Kansas
I wouldn't say rank them. Give them some recognition. I wouldn't say rank them, not yet.
Okay,
I mean, and it was just a field goal
Florida,
win, right?
Florida did the same thing. They beat.
Well, I mean, they did to Colorado.
Florida's unranked.
Colorado beat TCU, and TCU was ranked like number 14, and they got ranked literally the next week.
But
Yeah,
Colorado's going to be an exception to everything this season.
I know. I'm just going out just to.
Well, what about Florida?
Something that's
Florida
relative.
And by the way,
Tennessee,
I
and
meant
they
to wear
ranked Florida was
shades
unranked.
today, and I forgot. I meant to wear shades today, and I forgot. In honor of Deion Sanders. All right, but that will wrap up this edition of Cats versus Cards. I appreciate everybody that has joined us, everybody that's joining in and watching. If you're watching live or if you're watching the recorded version, I appreciate you for joining. And again, like I said, join the conversation. Ask your questions. You can join in on Facebook or YouTube. And if you want to ask afterwards, it's something that we can address next show. We can do that as well. Contact me. You see my Twitter handle right there on the screen. Contact me if you want to be on the show. You can even join live. All right. So that'll wrap it up for this edition of Cats versus Cards. We'll see you next week at the same time, same bat place, and maybe a loss by against Louisville. No, I'm just playing.